This morning, we're going to conclude our sermon series, Shaping Our Future. A look at how we can determine, discover, and discern the will of God for us by doing 4 different things. The first was to look backward, to see the promises kept from a faithful God, how those promises that he's kept, his faithfulness, has shaped where we are right now. The second was that we would look inward, to see ourselves for who God does. Created in his image, created with a purpose and a plan, and that we would find where we fit in his will. The third was to look outward, to see the opportunities all around us, to be his hands and his feet, to see others for who it is that God has created them to be, and help them to find that for themselves. And this morning we're going to conclude by finally looking forward, to see what it is that God is continuing to shape us for, to see all of the amazing things that are going to happen and the wonderful plans that God has. And as I sat this week thinking about looking forward, I was reminded that we're in that stretch of our calendar where we look forward. That time of year where we're now just a couple of months from Christmas, 74 days to be exact. That wonderful time of the year where we look forward to celebrating the birth of Jesus, to being out on kettles, to the snow gently falling and attending what seem like countless Christmas concerts, helping with the distribution, or maybe for some of us, what we're looking forward to is Boxing Day, when all of those things will be done and we can finally get a little rest. I think Lee understands what I'm saying. Hoping for the days to just pass by quickly because they bring up for us perhaps hurt or loss, disappointment, busyness, frustration, anxiety over finding the perfect things, making it to everything, being lost in the moments in the past, or people lost who made Christmas feel special. Moments where we can get caught looking forward and the time just slips away. We miss out on the lights, the carols, the cookies, the gift giving, the Christmas story, the Christmas movies, on taking moments to thank God for the people around us, to just stop and be in awe of his presence, that he came to walk among us. The time with friends and family, moments to remember and give thanks for the past. We can be so focused on looking forward that we miss out on the blessings of the present that continue to shape our future. And this is a truth that I believe is at the heart of the passage that we've read this morning. Now, this is one of the most famous or perhaps infamous Bible passages because of the verse that's contained near the end of it that is often taken out of context to be misused for something it isn't. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. Now, I will admit again that this is one of my favorite verses in the entire Bible. And it's been brought to my attention countless times over my life that I am not in exile living in Babylon, so it was not written for me. But in reality, or the reality is that even in our current lives, we can hold on to the truth that is found in that passage in its context. Because those words of hope were written to a people living in a desperate situation, and followed words of disappointment that they would have read just before them. But they were shared to give hope that there was a future to come, the future of their people who would receive the blessings that God was promising to them on that day. That when they did seek him, when they turned to him for real with all their hearts, that he would hear them, that they would once again find his favor and he would return them back to their people. But Jeremiah was telling them this was going to be a process, a marathon, not a sprint to get home. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's look into the context of where this was and how this passage can and should shape how we look forward in our lives, in our families, in our church. So Jeremiah, as we heard from Brianna earlier, was a prophet of God, instructed with delivering a message that the people unfortunately weren't going to like. He knew this going into it because God had shared it with him earlier in this text. It would be unwelcome because the people at that time were being fed terrible information. They were being lied to. They were being filled with misinformation. The people of Judah had been overwhelmed by the Babylonian Empire and separated. Some allowed to remain in their land, but many exiled throughout the Babylonian Empire's vast area. This was done so the people couldn't have the support of their full community and hopefully not rise up and take back their future. So into this, the king at that time, King Zedekiah, has many prophets, diviners, and other people sharing messages with him. Many of them, unfortunately, are saying, essentially, don't worry, king, it won't be long. Tell the people not to unpack, don't settle in, because we'll soon be back in our own homes, our own cities, and our own lives. One man, Hananiah, in chapter 28, tells the king that it will only be 2 years before the people will be living back together again. And so, as you can imagine, this is welcome news from the king and all the people who heard it. But Jeremiah knows this is not the case, that this will not be over soon, that there is more to look forward to. That before they can step into that future, there's more that they have to look at, good and bad, that will shape where that future leads them. So knowing he was tasked with sharing this unwelcome news, Jeremiah sends out this letter to the people. A letter they would have been looking forward to receiving, perhaps. With the other message, they probably longed to read it, to bring them hope for the future as they read it, and then they open the scroll and they read these words. Build houses and settle down. Plant gardens and eat what they produce. Marry and have sons and daughters. Find wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage so that they too may have sons and daughters. Increase in number, do not decrease. Seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you. Pray to the Lord for it, because if they prosper, you too will prosper. Don't let the prophets and the diviners among you deceive you. They are prophesying lies to you in my name. This is what the Lord says. When 70 years are completed for Babylon, I will come to you and fulfill my good promise to bring you back to this place. Talk about a shot to the gut. This letter goes into detail and not the kind they wanted. The people were hoping for a short stay, that they'd be home before their livestock died or their children were old enough to remember this terrible time that they were going through. But that's not Jeremiah's message. He tells them to get comfortable, to make a life there, to find an occupation, to be part of the community. He says, build homes and settle down. Well, that takes time, money, and effort to make those things happen. Plant gardens and eat what they produce. Anyone who's a gardener or farmer knows of the investment this would be in time and resources to produce what they would need to survive. Get married, have kids, help your kids get married so they can have kids. This is multiple generations of people who were to be born on the land of the people who were oppressing them. He says, pray for the people to prosper, because if they prosper, so will you. He wants them to pray for good things for people oppressing them, for them to have what they need, for them to continue to grow and develop, because it will mean good for them as well. Become part of the community, settle into life there, because this is going to be a while. Because when 70 years are complete, I will come to fulfill my promise, he says. Now, they would have known the significance of that number, what it meant. 70 had a special meaning in their culture. It symbolized completeness, totality, a full period of time. It's seen as a combination of the number 7, perfection, and 10, wholeness. The people reading it would have understood that the next part, the hope and prosperity, bringing them back to their land, the future he was talking about, was not one that many or all of them would live to see. That they were not going to go back to the homes they had before, to the lives they were living before the Babylonians came, to the city of Jerusalem or the company of all their people, that their future would be there in Babylon. But the lives they chose to live in that moment were going to shape the fulfillment of the plans that God had for their people. That it was the decisions they would make, the lessons they would teach their children, their faith in the God who had carried them through before, their hope in the one who had been faithful in keeping his promises to them in the past, that would shape their future as a people. That while they might have hoped it would be a short process, that wasn't going to be the case. So they needed to live in the moment, looking forward to the future, knowing there was a great deal still to come before they experienced the true blessings that God had in store for them. That they personally would not receive them, but corporately they would. But that how they responded in the present would be the most important thing they could do to make the future they were looking forward to happen. And so, friends, in saying all of that, I'm sure you can imagine where the rest of this message is going. Because while I wish I could say that God is shaping us for a future that will begin tomorrow, I don't know that. I don't know that we will all get to see the hope, future, and prosperity of Oshawa Temple that is to come. As an officer, I don't even know what the next year is going to bring from the Salvation Army for me and my family, let alone what God has in store for all of us in the time that we have left. And that's not making me making an announcement or not making an announcement, because I truly don't know. But what I do know is that, as we've shared before, God is not done with Oshawa Temple. And there are amazing things to come for us as a people. That we're standing on the shoulders of those who came before us, on the doorstep of what God is leading us to, but it's probably not going to come in the next 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years before we see it, as much as I pray that it is. But that as we as a church family look forward with anticipation for what's to come, we need to be active in living for him in the present to ensure we reach that ultimate goal. So as Oshawa Temple, as people and families, what can we do? Well, Jeremiah would remind us, build homes and settle down. That we need to invest our time, our talents, and our treasures into this place and be part of what's going on. Make this a place, as we heard from you in a little bit earlier, where we live, our second home, where we give our time, where we find our people, where we offer the best of who we are and what we have. Get involved in the lives of others here. Drop off a meal for a family going through a difficult time, a gift card for someone struggling to get groceries. Send a card, make a call, invite someone over to your house to journey with them in the struggles that they're walking through. Next, he would tell us to plant gardens and eat what they produce. That we would get involved in the difficult work that is being done to grow his kingdom and to feed his people here. Join a life group or offer to lead one. Attend a Bible study. Be part of the fruit that's being grown, the vines that are developing out. Then he would say, marry, have children. Help your children marry and have children. Invest in the next generation of our church family. Teach a Sunday school class or help out in the nursery. Get involved in the card ministry, encouraging our youth and young adults in the most life-changing moments of their development. Pray for our youth leaders as they journey with them. Come to the intergenerational events and spend a little time getting to know our young people, because they're amazing. Just say hi. Or go in the gym after the church service and toss a ball around to get to know them a little bit more. Support them as they share their gifts through the YP band, the beginner band, and the Sing Company ministries on Sunday mornings. Then Jeremiah tells us, pray for the prosperity of this city. That we would be reminded as Christians that we're called to be not of the world, but to still be in the world. So join me in praying for our city, for our political leaders, municipal, provincial, and national, for the decisions that they're making. Advocate for those who are struggling to find their voice or who are being overlooked, oppressed, held down, and held back. Love your neighbor. Pray for those who persecute you. Look after the orphaned, the widowed, the newcomer, the misunderstood, and the abused. Join the group who meet each Sunday before our service to pray for all that God is doing and going to do. Give your time to support the team at family services. Participate in the Christmas kettles and the distribution programs. And most of all, brothers and sisters, seek him, and we will find him if we seek him with our whole hearts. Be in the Word. Be a praying people. Keep sharing the stories of his goodness and faithfulness in the past. Keep looking for the evidence of where he's working and get involved in the present. Keep hoping for the future, whether you and I will be around long enough to see it or not. Keep looking forward to the days that are to come, for the blessings that we will receive and for the lives that will be changed, for the time when he will make all things right. But don't get so forward focused that you forget to see, to feel, experience, and be his blessings in our world right now. Don't lose sight of the gift that is our present and the ways that God is using it to shape our future.